It's lovely to see so much life over here at this cut flower patch. Plenty of bees and butterflies. Here's a lovely little moth. I think it's a tiger moth. I've actually seen a number of these around the garden this week. This is pretty much the only area in my garden that looks half decent. Everywhere else, all the other beds look like a complete mess. Even the container garden is looking sad. Oh my goodness, I haven't been watering it. You can see all the foliage is droopy. This is the basil. It's all shriveled up, the leaves. And then I've got other plants like here. This is the chili, the black jalapeno. Struggling too. All completely my fault because I just haven't been taking care of it. I've been so busy with other things. We had Valentine's Day last Friday. That was one of the main reasons why I didn't get to post, because it was an extremely busy day selling my flowers. But the great news is it was actually a sellout. I haven't been harvesting the capsicums, and I just noticed this one that has been sitting on the plant, probably eaten by something there. It looks possibly if I open this up, it could be fruit fly. Ooh, it's kind of oozing liquid. Yeah, so I don't know, I just feel pretty bad about this entire thing, but you know what, I want to be honest about it because my garden does not always look great and sometimes I just don't have the time, and this is the reality of it. Things get out of control. But it's quite interesting though. You can almost see from, you know, the lack of water which plants are pretty hardy, and this one here, the Euphoria, is looking great, and the pot's pretty dry, but yet the plant is like covered in blooms. So I may end up buying a few more of those plants. I'll keep a note of that. If it's so drought tolerant, it's definitely one that I want to grow more of here in the garden. The lemongrass is all dried up. Well, I think if I give this a good water, it will bounce back. I've had it in this state before and it has come back to life, so I'm not too concerned about that. Oh my goodness, look down here. I didn't see these. What a lovely surprise. Maybe this will be my motivation to get back into looking after this area. Look at all the tomatoes. They're all falling off. Wow, that's exciting. I've only got one or two of these zinnia plants that I popped in here that has survived. A number of them have just died back, like this one, and in a couple of other containers down there. This is the sage plant that I took great care of over winter, and now look at it. But it hasn't died. This will bounce back too, but I don't know, I just don't feel like a very good gardener. I just had a big bite out of the tomato. It's so delicious. The smell's amazing. Another plant that doesn't seem to have minded the lack of water is this lemon thyme. It's still looking extremely healthy, which is great. The mint is starting to put out flowers. It's in stress. I've decided with the cut flowers that last week was my last week of selling them at Tarmore Garden Centre. I just don't have enough to continue irregularly supplying flowers at this point. We are coming into the last couple of weeks of summer and the stems are just way too short for me to create bouquets that I'm happy with selling. Now, I just wanted to say, so when I was down there, I spent some of the money from my sales on a couple more indoor plants. So I have this one, which is a mother-in-law's tongue, and then this one here, it's a spider plant, but you may notice the foliage is quite curled. Now, the spider plants I've had in the past are your standard, you know, straight out foliage. This one is a little bit different. It's a curly spider plant, and I've never seen one of these before, so I thought I'm going to pick this up and try and grow it inside in the kitchen. And when I had a closer look at this one, I noticed that there's already some little baby plants forming. I'll be able to propagate these, pot them up, and increase the number of these plants I have growing around the house. And the same with the mother-in-law's tongue. This is very easy to propagate. So if I wanted, I could come in here, separate some of these and put them into separate pots and containers and grow them around the house too. This particular variety is called Silver Princess. There was another one there for sale where it had more of a yellow colour on the outside of the foliage, but I preferred this one. I may end up eventually buying the other variety, but for the moment I'm going to give this one a go. I also wanted to give you a quick update on the dahlias. So I have a number of them flowering. Oh, there's a grasshopper or something, no doubt, about to eat the foliage. That's been my biggest issue this year. I haven't been able to add many of these blooms because the petals have been so damaged from these little creatures that they just haven't looked good enough to add into the bouquets. Anyway, I've got a number of different varieties flowering, but mostly I've just got heaps and heaps of foliage and not many blooms at all. I'll show you a few of the different varieties now, but unfortunately each plant is only producing a handful of blooms. I'm just hoping with autumn around the corner these plants will produce a lot more that I can harvest. This one reminds me of the peppermint zinnia variety. It has very similar petals. It looks like it's been splashed with red paint. I do like growing a big variety of colour when it comes to the zinnias, so I go for the bold oranges and reds and purples. Then I go for these pastel colours too. I do need to do quite a bit of deadheading. A lot of the flowers have passed their best and I want to try and encourage more fresh blooms. I've just spotted this tiger moth on the ground. This is the one that we saw on the foliage over in the cuff flower patch. I hope this little guy's all right. Come on, come off the ground. You don't want anyone accidentally stomping on you, do you? Let's go. Let's go put you somewhere safe. On your hop. When I was preparing our garden for the renovations, I popped this potted plant in an area that got quite overgrown. I forgot about it and I just thought about it the other day. This is an indoor plant which I left outside. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but it was given to me by my husband's grandma, and I'm thinking now that I've kind of got into the indoor plants, I'm going to repot this one because the container is completely smashed. Look at the state of it. See over here? It's like bursting out of it. So if I take this out, divide it up, give it a good tidy, get rid of all the weeds and grass, I think this would be a nice addition to my indoor plant collection, and definitely has sentimental value knowing that it was grown in my kids' great grandma's house. Having just shown you those dahlias, it's made me want to pick a bunch of them to bring inside to the kitchen. This particular plant has the most blooms out of all the different varieties I've got growing at the moment. This variety is called Sugartown Sunrise. Although they look lovely front on, if you take a look underneath you'll see that many of them are really past their best. So in a way I've kind of just deadheaded the plant, but I'm still happy enough to strip these stems and pop them in a vase to enjoy inside. That's about it for this week, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more gardening videos here from New South Wales, Australia. Take care and happy gardening.